Picture this. She's got a notebook full of ideas. A life coaching niche? No, a parenting blog. Wait, maybe a meal planning service. She's been almost ready to start for 8 months now. And it's not that she's unmotivated. It's not that she is scared, but maybe a bit afraid that she'll pick the wrong niche. And the truth is, she just skipped the step that would make her niche more obvious. Today, I'm going to talk to you about that step. And by the end of this episode, my hopes is that you will know exactly how to do this so you can pick a niche that actually fits your life. Welcome back to the Family First Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Heather Blake. All right, so that woman with the notebook, many of us can actually understand and feel like we are that woman. Lots of ideas. She's busy. She's smart. She's already Googling niches at 10 o'clock after the kids have gone to bed. And she's not stuck because she's indecisive. But she's stuck because she started at step 2. Right? She didn't start at step 1. She skipped that whole step and just started writing down ideas. Most people go niche hunting just like this. Like they're shopping, like they're window shopping. And part of that is that so many of us have seen the videos that tell us these are the great niches. These niches are making money. These niches are easy. This. We browse, we compare, we look at what everyone else is suggesting to us, and then we start second guessing. Oh, should I be this one? Should I do this one? But a niche isn't something you find. It's something you uncover within yourself. A niche isn't something you find. It's something you uncover within yourself. And that's not to say you don't need to look outward, but you also cannot skip the step of looking inward when you're looking at your niche. You can only uncover it from the inside out. That is why I want people who are thinking about starting a business to self-inventory themselves first. That is something I go in the beginning, that we do in the beginning of the new business workbook, Clarity to Cash. It is also something that I do with any of the classes I've taught. It is something I do with any of the clients that I work with. We need to inventory ourselves and not go shopping for a niche. So what do you do for inventorying yourself? How do you do that? I walk you through it in the workbook, but I want to also walk you through 3 of the core questions that you can ask yourself, and then I can give you right here in this podcast episode. Question 1. This would be, what do you already know? What skills do you have? What expertise do you have? There's things people ask you about. What is it that they ask you? So you need to know what you know, what skills you have. So maybe it's related to your work. Maybe it's related to what you do at home. Maybe it's something you went to school for. There's all different ways we can earn experience and skills, and all of that is relevant to choosing your niche. So just because you went to school for economics doesn't mean that your skill of planning family meals isn't relevant to this process. I want to make sure you take that inventory and write down everything you can think of. After that, you are going to ask yourself, what do I actually enjoy? Cross off anything that you have a skill in, but you don't enjoy. Like if you do not enjoy cooking your family meals or planning the family meals, but that is a skill, cross it off. If you're really good at cleaning, but you don't like doing it, cross it off. If you went to school to economics and earned a bachelor's degree, but now you hate the subject, cross it off. Just because you're good at it doesn't mean you should have that as your niche. It needs to light you up. And if it doesn't like give you that like passion, that excitement, then I highly recommend looking deeper at what your skills and your abilities are. Because I bet you there is something that you enjoy. Now I want you to ask yourself what fits into your real life. You have a busy schedule. You might be in a specific season of your life. You know, like there's a difference between what business someone can start when they have 3 children under the age of 10 and someone who has 3 children who are all grown adults. Or if you are committed to certain things in your community and those take up a lot of your time, you are not going to be able to start the same business as if you had more time. What fits your family? What works with your family? What fits your values? Because if you're good at something, but it goes against your core values, you shouldn't be doing it. You should cross it off. So then you'll have this list, this inventory of yourself, and you'll probably only have a couple things left on it. This is going to make your choice so much easier. So much easier. Because if you only have 2 or 3 things left, then you've narrowed it down, right? If you do not have anything left on your list, then I think you need to look deeper. You need to really analyze what your skills and your experience and your knowledge are. Sometimes we underestimate ourselves and we think that everyone knows everything that we know. Sometimes we take what our abilities are for granted. But that's one of the reasons that I love using the question, what people ask you about. So when you are inventorying yourself, think about what do people come to me for help with? I've said this in other episodes. I work with, I help out with the PTG or sports booster clubs and things like that. And things that I do is I help with fundraising. Not everyone knows how to do fundraising. One of the things I do is I make Google Forms that are payable so we can raise money that way. Just the organization skills of being able to put together fundraising packets for every football player or cheerleader that joins. Being able to run a concession stand, right? So I have come to realize that not everyone knows how to run a concession stand. Not everyone knows how to ask volunteers to sign up for a concession stand. So many times when we run the concession stand for like basketball at our school or football for my kids' school, my son is very athletic and is involved in a lot of things, and I'm involved with the Booster Club. One of the top things that we hear from visiting parents is, wow, you guys have the best concession stand. And not everyone knows how to do this. It's not something that everyone just knows how to do. When I went to a different, so my son aged out of the Little League and then he aged into Babe Ruth. And I went to go help with the concession stand at Babe Ruth and I was like, oh my gosh, they're undercharging. Oh my gosh, they don't have options. Oh my gosh, they are leaving money on the table by not doing these things. That could be your niche. Crazy, right? You don't realize sometimes you take for granted what your abilities are and what your knowledge is. And you think that, well, this is just common knowledge. I love branding. I love marketing. And I just, for a while, took it for granted that everyone knew what I knew. But I spent so many years obtaining that knowledge, and others didn't. So I really want you to look at that. I really want you to not underestimate what you know and look at what other people ask you for help with. Like people come to me, Heather, I have sewn multiple sports jerseys over the last 2 years because they were ripped and they needed to get sewn back together. And people are like, Heather, can you sew my kid's jersey? Heather, can you sew this jersey? Or I need to alter the cheer uniform so this can be done. Not everyone can do that. People come to me for that. So I want you to really think about, what do people ask you for help with? And I want to make sure you do not underestimate what you know and just assume that everyone else knows it, because they don't. Yes, maybe there are certain things that everyone knows, like counting to 10, counting to 20. But I am telling you, most of the knowledge in our heads is not basic. It is something that someone will pay you for. Okay? What do you already know? What do you actually enjoy, and cross everything else out? What fits into your real life? I call this from your mind to money method, right? You take what's in your mind, what you know, the experience, the skills, cross out what you don't enjoy, figure out what fits into your real life. Maybe you know all about certain types of, like, we'll say boot camp, like running a boot camp and doing physical fitness and all this stuff, but you yourself do not have time to actually teach the classes, then that doesn't work. Unless you can figure out, okay, if I was able to pre-record these and I was able to do this, then if that's how it can fit into your life, that's fine. But if you can't figure out a way that fits into your life, cross it off. If you do want help with this, I do have a workbook, the New Business Workbook, Clarity to Cash. I can put a link for that, and I will put a link for that in the description. But I just walked you through that process of figuring out your niche from your mind to making money. I'll see you next week on the Family First Entrepreneur Podcast.